Yes, hello, everybody. I know we're a bit late. We were meant to be at 5. We're here 18 minutes late, but we're here nonetheless. It's Arsenal Wolves review. We're back to winning ways.
Wolves. You are.
Almost.
What are you
It's
saying?
because in the thing I can just see Wolves. Arsenal West Ham
West Ham, yeah.
review. Arsenal West Ham review 3-1 win. 13 wins out of 15 league games. 40 points. How are you feeling, Karen, after that performance?
Yeah, I'm good. I think that this was, a nervous game to get back to. I think there was a very much a case where people were saying, Eddie, I'm leading the line, Jesus out, are we going to be able to get that? I think there's a lot of nerves going into this game from a lot of people. And even myself, like I was feeling a bit like, Eddie in the Europa League hasn't really been setting it alight, but when he's at home and at the Emirates, he's not a joke. He's a good Premier League striker. So I was quietly confident. Obviously, I think that they have one player, and his name is Declan Rice. And apart from that, it's just sort of like I don't know what was the threat. There was no Skamaka, no. I mean, Antonio was there, but I feel like we'll get into it. Their main outlet was sort of like Fabianski just launching it to Souček, who would get knockdowns, and then into Antonio, and then just Bowen, and they would go through that route. That they ran that route a lot, and I didn't really feel apart from that when we handled it, they didn't really offer that much else. Obviously, they had the penalty, but I wasn't really ever sort of nervous this game. I don't feel that we were ever sort of, even when we were behind, it was like we're playing well. It's not a game where you really think that there's not a chance where we're going to not get 3 points. We were going to get 3 points this game, and it's nice to feel comfortable. It's nice to feel like you're going into games, winning games, and you're going to win the game instead of going West Ham. I know last year going into them, because they were playing so well last year when we came up against them in December, you went to that game.
They were fifth at the time.
They were fifth at the time, and you thought, well, that's going to be a tough game. And you went into yesterday and thought, not really much threat. I didn't really feel like they were going to be incredibly. What did you make of it? Because I wanted to ask you how you felt it compared to last year, and because you were at the game last year. So did you notice much difference with them? Because obviously they have Paqueta and all these different guys now. What do you think?
Well, Rice touched the ball a lot less, and our press was better. Our press was better this year, I think, and we were more composed in possession because, obviously, Lacazette last year, our press immediately changing Lacazette from Ed to Eddie. Our press immediately gets better, and yeah, Rice just wasn't really fit.
No,
obviously he's going to play every single game.
He gassed that second half a lot.
He's played every single game possible this season for England and West Ham. Like, eventually, he's gonna get tired. That's what happens when you don't have a backup at all. He gets tired, especially when he plays like less than 2 weeks after he played a World Cup quarterfinal. So it was expected from him. And then no Antonio starting, no Skamaka, like a weird front line. I expected a dominant performance. We did get that 72%.
Well, Antonio started.
Yeah, but he wasn't fit.
He wasn't fit, no.
Yeah, not a fully fit Antonio, not a fully fit Skamaka, not a fully fit Rice. So I was expecting a dominant performance, and they just like fouling. Like Paqueta had 4 fouls. So they just like fouling. So I expected it. Going into the game, I wanted like Erdegaard to be a bit higher up, to be a bit more on the ball, and I got what I wanted. I think he had a great game. Obviously, we're going to talk about him more, but I think he had a great game. And Rice not being fit just left him more and more space. And yeah,
You mentioned went down that space in the right-hand side. That duel between Rice and Erdegaard is where this game will be decided, just by the center circle and who will dominate that space and who will get that space locked up. And it was the case, because Erdegaard, as you mentioned, we've been talking about it for a while, especially me and George and you as well on Twitter, about how we feel like the dynamics are going to change a little bit, because of the way our squad is shaping, that the right side is going to be a bit more advanced and the left side will be a bit more conservative instead of this Xhaka dynamic that we have going forward. And it was nice to see. I think that Xhaka understood that his role was going to be a bit deeper. Tierney obviously went a bit higher, and we had a different dynamic. And
Tierney being higher was perfect for
Mm.
Martinelli, who was in the striker. It was like we were playing like a two-striker formation at times, just him and Eddie in the box, and it was very good. Martinelli was, I think, very wasteful. His goal was a poor goalkeeper mistake, I think.
It was so poor that people thought we were rigging games, apparently.
Yeah, but before that, like he got a couple chances. Like Eddie was great on the half turn, and them being so deep in the box, you have to be very quick on the turn your defender, and use the space in front of you. Pass to Martinelli, and he kept either overhitting crosses or overhitting shots. And the one time he was right was a bad cross. I maybe he went for goal but you can't really tell when a player who doesn't look up when he's dribbling.
No,
he didn't look up once before he hit the ball, so I couldn't tell if he was shooting or not. But it was a good goal. It was a good goal, a deserved goal. And then after the 1-1, the game was done for me. Like even at 1-0, they didn't create anything apart from the 1-0 for me to be scared.
I mean, they had that one shot that Ramsdale saved, and he made that little face. But apart from that,
yeah, like they didn't create much, and they don't create much. Like that was the first time they've won a first half this season.
I mean, West Ham, what they present is a very centrally compact team. They kept it between the lines of the box. They can make sure they were very, very compact centrally, and they wanted to force us wide, not allow chances to be created in the box. And if you were going to do that, you had to break them down. And I think when you look at this, especially that first half performance, they knew what they were doing. They were set up in a way that they had their best box defenders on the edge of the box. They had Declan Rice on the edge of the box, just basically patrolling that zone. And now I think the main thing is with this whole with the dynamic of where you're talking about this this whole situation with the West Ham block is they were very good in defending, not just deep, because they weren't just defending deep. They were kind of pushing a low mid block. Like they weren't just going just deep. They weren't collapsing. They were trying to be aggressive, but be aggressive in a way that was compact, and that was impressive, especially in that first half.
The goal meant their pen meant that they didn't need to step up for the rest of the half after that pen. So after the pen, they just sat in their box and asked us to break them down. And for the first half, we broke them down, but the final shot wasn't there. Obviously, apart from the Saka disallowed goal, but the final end product wasn't there until the second half. And I was very composed and I was encouraged by the way we played after the first goal, because it was like a bad mistake from Saliba. I never saw anything on Twitter about, oh my God, we're going to lose, the game's done. Saliba.
No, I still saw people going, oh, Gabriel missed the header, and that's why.
Yeah, people try to blame him.
But the thing is, I love this because the same energy isn't kept for Gabriel, because when Zinchenko misses the ball in the Northumberland derby and Gabriel tries to cover, oh, it's all Gabriel's fault. But when it's Saliba in the same situation, they don't have the same energy. And I'm willing to say, look, Gabriel misses the header. It's not good. He shouldn't be that. He's meant to be aggressive. We're told his role in this defense is to be aggressive in the air and try to hit his man high. That is his role in this defense. Like, he's doing his job, and you don't win at 100%. And Saliba's the cover defender. Yeah. They play these roles, and Saliba makes the mistake.
And they've done it all season. Like, them obviously on the ball were very good. They were very willing to switch. Like, we were so fluid versus West Ham. Sometimes Partey was right centre back and Martinelli was in the pivot. Like, the rotations were
Martinelli dropping was
very
a massive part of that second half. I don't know if you realised, because
I think Tierney, since before the break and now, has become a bit more technically secure, a bit more confident. I think he was very confident on the touchline and whenever he was inside, a lot more than, say, the start of the season. we didn't really miss. Well, I didn't miss Zinchenko. People are always gonna miss him because technically he's so great, and regardless of what Tierney does, he can't match the Zinchenko. But for me, I liked what Tierney did because there were tackles he made which we scored immediately after, and Zinchenko wouldn't make those tackles in transition.
No.
He did a decent job of containing Bowen, apart from the goal and his
There was a
shot.
couple of crosses that Bowen had, especially in the first like 10, 20 minutes, something like that. That, you know what, Tierney, he gets done a couple of times. But the thing is, what he does, because he's Kieran Tierney, is he recovers. He doesn't allow him to get off crosses easily. Even the ones that he got done, Bowen has to literally is on his last legs and produces a nothing ball. Like he doesn't
Yeah.
get out in a ball that is of any meaning because Kieran just lets him go past. No, he's on the edge every time with Kieran. And when you're looking at someone that you want to be defensively secure, and you're then saying, okay, then now you're adding that technical security, and the one thing I'm hearing is, oh, he booted the ball once when the Wenger chant went up. Like,
But the thing is, yeah, White does this. White did the same thing.
yeah, everyone does the same
Saliba,
thing.
yeah, Saliba
Everyone does
passed
the
to him.
same
I
thing.
mean, sorry, Erdegaard passed to him. He dropped deep. Erdegaard passed. So leave Saka 1v1 and he put the ball over the top. We do it all the time to try to put in the instance he was trying to put Eddie in 1v1 with the defender
It's
or
not
1v1 with
just
the
that.
keeper.
It's the fact
We
that
do
we're
it all
just
the
trying to
time.
put pressure higher up on the second ball.
Exactly.
Because when you're trying to get the ball up the pitch, you know you have the second ball monsters in your front line to really put them under pressure. So a hoof up the pitch is not a bad move, because even if
Yeah,
they win
because
the
you
first
trust your
ball,
players. You
you
trust,
trust your press, you trust
yeah.
your counter press, and you trust that your attacking line will get the ball back. Because hang on a second, our best chance creation mechanism is our press. So hoofing the ball up doesn't actually mean, oh, what is he doing? Not everything has to be on the floor. Oh my god, pep play through the lines. Oh my god, we need the patterns of play. La la la. You have to be able to basically sustain pressure and being able to turn the ball over. And if you need to do that through a hoof, you do that through a hoof. No one really cares. So yeah,
Well, let's get into the first goal because really it was a pen.
it was a pen. Yes.
It was a pen. Saliba late challenge. Do you think we could have done anything differently to prevent the pen?
No, I
Um,
mean, look, the goal itself. Gabriel misses his header. Sure, he goes upwards against Suchek and he misses the header. But then again, when someone misses a header, what did we just talk about? You need your players to be winning that second ball, getting into the thing, winning the duels, and not being dumb in the box. And Saliba, look, I love Saliba. We are the ones in the Arsenal universe, let's put it this way. We are the ones that have been with this guy since the beginning. Like George was Saliba season, for God's sake. Like we are the Saliba guys. Okay, we aren't Johnny come latelys. Okay, we know the potential of this kid is, and he's got an insane potential. But you have to realize that Gabriel makes mistakes, Saliba makes mistakes, everyone makes mistakes. The only person I think I've seen who's not had a mistake leading to a goal is probably White. Has White had a mistake leading to a goal? I don't think so. Comments, if you remember someone, then please tell me. But for me, White has been one of, if not our best defender this season. His ability to cover, his ability, especially even in this game when Antonio would get the ball, this ability he has to just find the ball and make sure that you win that second ball duel is incredible. So yeah, we've missed you too, guys. It's good to be back, but we need to get into this. What did you think of the rest of the first half, though, Chris? I mean, like it was pretty much nothing. I think we had some inroads, but did you really see anything that was like, hang on a second, these dynamics are interesting? Or...
yeah, I like this. We continually sit sometimes a 3-2, a 3-1, a 3-3, a 4-2, even a 2-3. Like we kept switching the rotations, which was very good to see. It's how we created a lot of our chances in the first half. I liked Erdegaard continually trying to reverse past the Xhaka. It was a bit much. Like maybe next time he'll get it right, but it was just another way of chance creation. Eddie and Saka, I think, combined very well whenever Saka did come inside. We nearly scored twice. I think Eddie should have laid off. If Eddie lays that off better, we probably score.
Yep.
To Saka. Saka did score, but it was offside. It hit him before Eddie got the assist.
Mhm.
But I think it was nice to see like different ways of trying to score. Martinelli better delivery. We probably score from across. I think Xhaka wasn't as high at times. It was letting Tierney go up, and
I
he'd
like
sit.
that. I don't know
Same
about
as
you, but I
Martinelli.
like
Even
that.
Martinelli was comfortable in the pivot, which is just closer and closer to getting in an elite team, elite positional play team. Everyone's comfortable in any zone on the pitch, really. And the more and more these guys do it, rather even if it's Tierney, or even if it's Nketiah out wide, or if it's Zinchenko in centre mid, Zinchenko on the left wing, the more and more these guys are in different positions, it's really perfect for us because we're more and more unpredictable and we score more goals. Because me personally, I thought well going into the game on the preview, I said Nketiah is going to be more potent than Jesus, and the first half was not looking likely because he got some stick at halftime. For me, he had a good first half, but he got a lot of stick at halftime. I just think his touches weren't there perfect for the goals, but I just think that was a bit of confidence. Really, he had to grow into the game because he doesn't really start, and there was that negative, not press, but negative like noise around him from Arsenal fans going into the game. But
Yeah, I think everyone just looked at that Europa League campaign and thought, oh, he's just not serious. He's not a serious person. He doesn't really take it seriously. And
yeah,
I just think that that's so disrespectful because you look at Eddie and you see that the amount of responsibility that Mikel's put on his shoulders. And if you think for a second that Mikel takes these things lightly, giving him the 1,400 bags a week, these aren't just like, oh, come, we'll just have him. Oh, I like Eddie. No, Eddie is a proper gunman. We've been saying this since. I mean, I think the biggest turnaround for me was Watford in pre-season. I don't know about you, but for me, when you saw not this obviously last year, but the season before, and you saw there was something there.
when
There
he
was
cut in
something.
and put it, when he cut in and put it in the bottom right corner.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
he showed that because like in the past, if you look at the 2020 season or something like things like this, he always looked like he was, he's just going to get in the box and he was going to just do something erratic and just get a goal somehow. But he's
yeah.
showing that he can, like I said on Twitter after his third goal, which we will get into, it felt like a drop step to me. Like it felt like he spun, just bodied his man, and then just put it away in the corner. Like it felt like a proper drop step. He felt
Yeah,
like
it was a great goal. I think he doesn't get praise for his technical base just because of how physically good he is and how much of a
he
typical road
bodied
runner
him.
he is
He
because of how
just
he
took his man
presses.
out. Like he
But
took him out. Like
yeah,
just
it was
body.
a very strong finish, and I think it's
Mm.
good for him to build on that. Arteta spoke well on him as well. The other players did as well. I
But
think,
the goal you saw even to Mikel, the goal meant a lot to him. But
yeah,
we'll get into that goal. But we'll talk about the
the first one.
equaliser because I think for me, obviously it's a lucky goal because Erdegaard shoots and then Saka gets
Composure though,
separated. That first touch from Bukayo, by the way, it's just
it was composed, but I don't think it was. I don't think it's luck. It's just a
no,
right,
it's not
right
luck,
place,
but
right
it's
time.
just sort of like it was a shot. You know what I mean? Bukayo
Yeah,
obviously has to make because Thierry said on the after the game, like getting into the box and being there and being available for opportunities to land at your feet.
it's not
You
luck.
have to be there to be. You have to create your own luck, basically. If you don't create it, then you're not going to be in a position to secure the best of that chance. So for me, I think he created his own luck. He made sure that he was available for that, and it's a good goal. I mean, the touch is nice. He waits for Fabianski to go down, and then he picks it. He just puts it in the corner. Lovely goal.
Very composed, because I've been complaining. Well, not just me, but a lot of people have complained about his finishing the past like year or so. He's wasted a lot of chances, and that was a very good finish. Very composed. As you said, the movement is underrated. Movement. He keeps ghosting between the left back and the centre back, and West Ham, as we said, allowed don't defend that space well, and that's how we scored. Odegaard, that was a good start for his reverse pass because that wasn't a reverse. It was the only reverse pass that he didn't mean, and it ended up as a goal. So that was good. I think the way we scored, the time we scored, just allowed for us to build into the game, and then we scored again very quickly after. Um, he was involved again, Odegaard. What did you make of the second goal?
I mean, the second goal for me, like, obviously it's lucky because Fabianski is just a howler from him. He doesn't cover his near post, and but the main thing for me was the movement to get into the box and get into that position. Obviously, I think it's a cutback. I think that's what he wanted to do. Personally, like if you look at the situation, it's probably a cutback. But for me, the main thing is getting into positions where you can take advantage of your luck again. If it's a miscue, then it's a miscue. But you still have to you have to put your foot through it and get the ball into a position to put it in the back of the net, and that's what Gabriel did. So
yeah, he dribbles with his head down, so that's why I said I didn't know if he was shooting or passing.
no, I think it's a cutback personally.
Yeah, because he had the opportunity to put a cross goal a lot.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I've
side.
seen that go back multiple times. I think it's a cutback. I think he's looking to put it in the 6-yard box and maybe an Eddie or a Bukayo to go onto it at the back
It was
post.
good play because we consistently, like they kept getting the ball up, but we kept coming back on that left side with Xhaka and Tierney, and that's just a result of sustained pressure. Really, like eventually they're going to crack, and that was it. Obviously, those people like saying it was rigged. Like even my dad was saying, your ex-player is giving you a free goal and stuff like that. But I think it was a needed goal because after that, the game was done. They had to step up and they couldn't do it. So they gave us space in transition. And Eddie had a chance in transition in both halves that he didn't really do too well in. I just think he either should have passed to Bukayo or taken it on his left foot, but he didn't do that. But after that goal, really, it was the third, and then we probably could have scored more, but they really tried to shut up shop and try to end the game, and then we were very composed in possession. But I think the third goal was a great goal, great passes on the right hand side. Odegaard pass, Eddie Silva's around the defender, and he puts it in the bottom corner side netting. I think that was a great goal, a great finish, probably the best finish of the game. I think that really summed up Eddie, his strength, some composure in the box. He's very dangerous. He's only scored in the box. Apart from that Watford goal in pre-season, he's only scored for us in the box. So that was not similar to what Eddie normally scores. He normally scores like tap-ins, rebounds, scruffy goals, and it's probably the cleanest goal he scored for us. What did you make of that third goal that really tied up the game and gave Eddie
I
the
think
praise?
the white intervention in that was just shows what we have there with him. I think getting the ball back in that situation, being able to have the awareness to find Odegaard and winning that duel. You know what I mean? Like Mikel talks obviously a lot, and we do on the channel about winning your duels, especially up high, getting the ball back high, making sure that you can turn over the ball high, and that is emblematic of what we're talking about on the channel. Is winning the ball high and turning it over is going to be even more than half the battle of winning games in this league, because if you can do that, you can put your pressure on the opponent in their own half and make sure that you can score goals and prevent your own goal being threatened. So kudos to him. Obviously, Odegaard finding that first touch and getting it to Eddie is good. And I mentioned before that he just gets the arm up, turns him, spins, touch, bang, and that's what Eddie needs to be doing. So beautiful goal. A lot of different Mikel principles in there. You're winning your duel, finding the space, hitting the corner. Very, very good, and I think an emblematic of what we want on the channel. I think that's a very good goal in all facets of the build up to it and the execution of it.
Well, yeah, it was a great goal. Deserved, I think. Like we deserved a bigger lead. Obviously, we both predicted 2-0. We didn't expect the pen. We were both wrong in that sense. But I think 62.
We matched City. How about that? 3-1, 3-1.
3-1, 3-1. Well, they matched us. We were first.
There you go. That's the way to look at it.
Yeah, and we stayed top. Um, 5 points clear. Obviously, we're going to talk about Brighton soon because it's in 2 days. We're going to talk about what tomorrow probably.
Yep.
Leading into that, like, how do you think this game affects what we do in that game? Because obviously, it's a different scenario. We're away from home at a stadium we don't do well at.
Particularly do well. But the thing is, the one thing I will say, and I will say again tomorrow, is they won't have Caicedo, they won't have McAllister.
Mhm.
Their
Yeah.
midfield is pretty much done. We should be able to go there and dominate. I think what we've struggled in a lot is them hunting Partey, basically, especially at their own house at the what is it, Amex? Is it, or what is it called?
Yeah, the Amex.
Amex, yeah. I remember last year we had the whole Tomiyasu versus Cucurella battle that happened, and Tomiyasu got done the first half and came back quite well. But I think when we look at this game, and we're going to look at it tomorrow. Every game now is we need to set a marker to allow City to, have some pressure going in. They won because this is how it's going to be the rest of the season. They won, they lost. They won, they lost. They won, they lost. They drew this. It's how it's going to be now because we are in this title race and we should be like, I don't know if you saw the Cannon Stats expected points simulation for the rest of the season. It's like 2 points between us and City now. At the beginning of the season was like 15, 20. So I think it's something like 80,
Even the odds, even the betting
87.6 to 84.7 or something like that. So 2 to 3 point differential. So
I was going to say,
let's see, man. I think a lot of it will depend on January. We will be doing January transfer specials, and hopefully George will be back for them. We will basically, I think, obviously the whole transfer situation is quite clear. I know there's a lot of rumors about different players, but I think one will be coming through the door, and another I think is a farcical.
The main one
from Jorge Mendes to try and get his player out the door.
I think we need, looking at the bench, West Ham game, we need something. Amario was on the bench. Amario
was on the bench, yes.
Marquinhos, but we didn't really have a proper. Obviously, Reece is injured. Reece would have been on the bench instead of Amario. We didn't really have that proper player in attack to bring on, so the attackers didn't come off apart from. Well, Vieira came on, and Smith Rowe is nearly back, but the bench doesn't look too good right now. And our next one, we will need something off the bench if the games don't go too well, because again, we haven't beat Brighton in our last 3 against them, and we need to beat them now. It is looking good for us, obviously, and for any bettors out there, it's the first time in like 8 weeks that we're above odds on, which is crazy. Just because we're away at Amex. I think we'll do well. We will speak about it. The game is in 2 days, but just want to wrap up West Ham. I think it was a dominant performance. 72% possession first half, 63 second half. Like, it was a dominant game all round. I think wasteful, expected. A lot of teams are wasteful. Grealish 6 shots.
I mean, it's the first game back in like 6 weeks. I don't care about friendlies.
Yeah, Grealish was six shots, 0 on target. Haaland 4 shots on target, 2 goals. Like, a lot of teams were very wasteful. Mount had 3 shots on target, so players were wasteful. It's expected, but when you create that many chances, you're bound to score some of them, and it's just what we need to do. Sustained pressure will eventually burst the pipes, so burst between the lines. I think we were very good, and we probably will continue to be very good. 40 points after 15 games. I don't think anyone can complain. I just want to remind no one that's got this many points after this many games has not won the league. So hopefully we don't ruin that trend. But yeah, what's your overall thoughts on the West Ham game? Because for me, it was a dominant performance that bodes well for the future, especially it being 1 year after dominating West Ham. What did you make of it?
I think the main thing to think about is rust is gone. I think it's just a get out the rust performance against a team that frankly we should be beating. If we had got anything but a victory, I think both of us would be on here very, very angry. They just don't have a good team. They don't. I don't like their fullbacks. I don't like their centre backs. I don't like their attacking options. Like Kara, Kufal, these guys, Fabianski, like Bowen. I don't think these guys are very good. Paqueta got shown levels by Odegaard this game. Sorry to the comp makers of the world, but they got shown levels. And I know on the channel we're often a screw Odegaard channel. I think that's the general consensus.
But the thing with the Odegaard thing, yeah, like obviously it came out as hate, but it was just noticing a player who has the capabilities to do something who didn't do it.
I don't think any of us, even George, has ever said he's a crap player. I think we've all said we want him to do more. Consistently.
Exactly. When we signed
after game, we've asked him to do more. And he's doing more.
But we're putting him in positions where he's receiving the ball in a bit more space. He's allowed to be more vertical. Well, he's given more space to be more vertical, which he needs to be a lot more vertical. I think he's a lot more decisive, a lot more confident. I'd like to see him without. I wouldn't. I wouldn't like to see him without confidence because we saw that last season. And for me, he's not a nice player to watch when he's not confident. A lot of our players are confidence players like Gabriel Jesus.
The main thing I would say is
hopefully he continues.
We've tried to stop him being that higher up 10, and we've said to him, look, we will give you Saka outside, coming inside. We'll give that to you. We'll have White on the outside. You run that second phase. You run it. Take the ball from the centre backs or from Partey. Run the second phase. Do not get dispossessed and get the ball into the final third. If you can find a chance, great. If not, pass to Saka, pass to Martinelli. That's his role now. And he does it very well because he has that technical quality. He has the ability to find the vision to find other players in space. And he is a good player in that middle third role. But what he isn't, and he is actually trying to find that now, is that final action possessor. He's finally finding his feet, finding those late runs to the box, getting the assists, doing things, and making things happen. I think that comes, as you mentioned, with confidence, but it also comes because there's less pressure on him in the final third. Because you have the runs of Xhaka going into the box late, you have the runs of Martinelli coming into the box, Saka going through, White going around the outside. There are different runs for him to go, look, I'm not the only chance creation mechanism here. If I'm not doing it, you lot do it. That's fine. But he is finding his way. And we said this on the loan. When he was on loan, his main thing was, I'm going to find that zone 14 run. I'll do that late run. You find me in the box and I'll score. No problem. That was his thing. And he did it against Wolves. There's a couple of games that he's done it. He has his ways. So he's doing better. And I said it on Twitter. I think a lot of people said it. I think that the roles are going to switch. I don't think we're going to stay with this Xhaka left-hand side high. I don't think it suits him long term. I think he's done very well with it because it's been a surprise, and a lot of people have said that obviously Zinchenko coming inside and that allows Xhaka to go a bit higher. But at the end of the day, we have players that, unless you want to go Emil right, left centre mid, that could kind of work. But we've tried Odegaard and Smith Rowe as eights, and it hasn't worked. So I would say that the right, I would say, is higher with Fabio, ESR, and with Odegaard. And the left-hand side will be a bit deeper with Xhaka and hopefully Declan Rice in that left centre mid next season. And then obviously Charlie Patino coming through and etc. etc. So lots of good things coming through at the end of the day. We kind of veered off a bit from West Ham and then kind of came circling back with Declan Rice there. So any final thoughts, Chris, or do you want to sign off?
Yeah, I think dominance, really. It was good to be dominant to come back. It was second time this year that we've gone down and then came back. Last season we didn't do it once. Well, not even just last season. Before this season, Arteta's Arsenal never came back when they conceded first. So it was nice to do it a second time this season. Hopefully we don't have to do it again and we just start winning from the start and end every game winning. But yeah, it was a dominant performance. It was nice to see us stay at the top of the league. We have 24 goal difference, which is great. Only 4 less than City. Hopefully we get more
That's
goals.
mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're actually better than them defensively.
But they
You guys
just score
realise
more. They just score a lot more than
They
us.
just
Really.
score a lot more because they have a 20-goal freak up top.
Yeah.
Seriously,
the
get
record.
injured, man. I can't.
Nah.
Just get
He
injured.
just broke the record for the
I'll do
fastest
this.
20.
I like the
20 goals.
FPL points. I like all this. It's very nice. Just get injured, man. I can't. Just go. It's fine.
Yeah, it took
January
him
31st
14
would be
games.
nice because they
Nah.
can't do anything.
I want him to play against us. I always want to play the best
Of
players.
course, he's a freak, isn't he? He's
He
mad.
is.
He
He is, but I don't want to talk about him now because we're still above them, innit? We'll talk about him when we have to. So yeah, thank you for watching, guys. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll post on Twitter when we have the time for you. We'll be back tomorrow to preview the Brighton game, and we'll be back next week, Monday, probably to review the Brighton win. No, Arsenal win. So hopefully
you've done this now. You've done this. Why have you done this?
I meant like Brighton win of the game. Anyways, fuck that. You guys know what I meant. We're gonna
If we
win.
lose, it's on him. Yeah, just to remember that.
I'm not playing anyways. Thank you for watching, and we'll be back soon. Peace.